yeah, we'll have this recorded. So in case someone is not able to join, feel free to take a look on our YouTube later. So in this workshop, I briefly covered the deliverables that you have asked, that what content you need to submit for this hackathon. So basically, we have the structure. There are three key deliverables you need to submit. The first one is definitely a GitHub repo, and we'd highly recommend you to write a README file, which includes all the details of your architecture. We'll cover that
Hey,
later.
Keith, it seems we are not seeing the slides. We're
Okay.
seeing the Discord screen.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know why it's like.
Maybe
Yeah,
you
let
need
me.
to share the whole screen instead of the window.
It doesn't give me like option to share the whole screen. I don't know. It has share screen
Do you
window
want me
or.
to try sharing it myself?
Okay. Can you share the screen for me, please? So I'll read that.
Sure. Can you
Yeah.
see it?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Okay. We are here, isn't it?
Yes. Let me configure the OBS to have that recorded. So yeah, let's move to the repo section. Yeah. So here's the repository requirements. We like all the registrants, all the participants of this hackathon. So we'd like number one is the well-structured code base. So basically, we want this AI agent you built, whether which frameworks that you build upon. We like it to be open source and with a well-structured code base on GitHub, and as well as the one that I mentioned, a comprehensive README file that has all the details, like what files, how do we start testing this AI agent, and all the details about the architecture and clear setup instructions. Or if that's not something, if you want to build something that, or if you already set up on your own, you can explain the process, like how you did it. And of course, dependency architecture is dependency documentation is very important. Like we like to see like what frameworks you have utilized, or what libraries you have built upon. Yeah. Can we move to the next slide? There you go. Okay, so here's a little more details about the agent documentation. So so we like to have the function listings, of course, like the exact things your agent is doing. Like, is that like trading agent? It's like market analysis agent, or just a iconic character on Twitter that can react to people and doing some social engagement with people. Yeah, and if there's any API integration, we like to see that as well. Like for the price analyst agent, if you are using, for example, Deck Screener API, we like to have that on your agent doc, and as well as some interaction examples, like what's the input and output of this agent. Yeah, and of course, a technical architecture diagram is highly recommended. You can use like Xcali draw or draw.io to draw a architecture diagram very simply. And you can also ask whether some AI powered IDE you're using, for example, Cursor, like we recommended in the startup, the kickoff meeting, or you can just upload your code base to, or some files, this file structure of your AI agent to Claude or ChatGPT to let it generate a architecture diagram in Mermaid, or in the way that you'd like to display it. Yeah. Nicole, let me know if you want to add something to this section.
Yeah, I think the technical architecture is something that's very useful, especially at the time of when you want to communicate how your app works. Normally, like having graphical aids are very useful. So it's a great way to communicate. And interaction examples are also very useful, especially if, when people wants to run the project itself. So to have a clear guidelines on how to run the agent yourself and how to interact with it, that's also very important. Something I would like to add here is that as this is a hackathon, I mean, we don't expect like to have a fully operational like final product here from your end. So you can also, it's my suggestion is that you add stuff that maybe is not yet implemented, but could be implemented in the future as well. I think that that's also something that is very interesting to know, like not only what is the current status of the project, but also where it aims to go.
Cool, cool.
And yeah, that's what I had to add.
Okay. I think there's one more slide, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the last part is it's also the most important part. So for demo presentation, we'd highly recommend to see a video format. Is very preferred. It's like we think the video format is like way better than some details in writings or in documentation. Visuals are always better illustration of always better than the simple illustration, right? So you can add some details or speak out just like what functions you have or demonstrate what your AI agent can do. For example, if you're building a third engagement bot, you can just simply record the whole process. And so start from your code base, explain what is what, and to like demonstrate how this agent work in the product wise. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding this, I have a question. Regarding the video, is there any minimum length or maximum length? Because I can see sometimes people like send 30 minutes videos, and maybe that's
I
what
think
we want. Yeah.
I don't want to set a like specific time frame for the video, but we expect to be at least 3 to 5 minutes, I guess, because you have to cover like four categories of the things that I listed, like the video format, like live demonstration of the AI agent and key features showcase and the real interaction, as well as the first and the most important one, the code base walkthrough. That's highly preferred. Yeah. So I expect this at least 3 minutes long, or three to yeah.
Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah, up to 5 minutes, I think it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand that there is no like strict requirement there on the length,
Yeah.
just that range. Okay. And yeah, something I would like to add regarding this is that I encourage, especially the people who do not speak English that fluently or are not that comfortable speaking English. I also suggest that you can also use voiceovers using 11 Labs, for example. So you can create the voice with AI and just create a script for the video. That's something I have been using a lot, and I think it's sometimes it's much better than even if you speak English as myself. I'm sure that the AI speaks English much better than me and pronounces the words perfectly. So sometimes at the time of communication, it's a good tool to use voiceovers using AI for that.
Yeah, I think AI is like very productive in this sector, the voiceover. So feel free to use any that's live in the market. Yeah. And and that's basically the deliverables you have asked. And we figured out what exact deliverables you have to submit. And considering the holidays approaching, we kind of principally thinking of extend this hackathon to one more week, which means it will end on January. I think it would be on January 21st. So don't feel rushed and don't be hurry. There are a lot of time to build and enjoy your build and enjoy your New Year holiday.
Thanks.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah, Nico,
great
would
news.
you like
Some people were asking about that possibility.
yeah, and let's start with the technical facts. So let me know if you have any question during this week of the development. Let me know if you have come up with any technical questions that need our response, and Nico will be free to answer any. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I have some stuff prepared for today, but it would be great to know if you guys have any specific question so we can focus more on your actual needs. So if you have any questions, just point it out on the chat, and or I don't know if they can come into the stage to ask any questions.
Yeah, if you want to
But if
speak,
there is any specific topic,
just raise your hand.
or doesn't mean to be a question, maybe just if you want to learn more about how to deploy a contract on Conflux, or do you prefer to move to the ELISA framework, maybe talk about plugins, all the stuff.
Oh, I've seen Matthias is racing to speak, and yeah, I've already invited you to speak.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Matthias.
Hello,
Matthias.
can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Yep, can hear you.
Okay, so nice to meet you. And Nico, I showed you a bit what I did, so it's gonna be easy. But I have a front end and a back end, and my back end is managing all the agent stuff going on. So do I really need to also make open source my front end, which will be, by the way, available to anybody, or do I just need to push the back end and my explanation with all the library on the back end, and the front end is just like something more they can see?
I think it would be great if you can share both. In my case, I have seen projects like using a lot of mono repos. Actually, ELISA is a mono repo, so it has its own client here. So what normally I have seen on other projects is that people show both the client and edit the client and also the server at the same time. But yeah, I don't know if there is any specific restriction regarding that case. Does it need to be fully open sourced or only the agent part?
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Case, do you have anything to add about that?
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer. I think. Yeah, thank you, Matthias.
Thanks.
And Nicole, actually, can you just I've known that you prepared some content for the technical
Yeah.
workshop. So actually, you can just start with sharing some ideas. It could be like very free.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. First of all, I wanted to show you this website, which is elisa.gg, which is like a chatbot for asking questions about ELISA. So you can use it like a technical support guy for anything about ELISA. And then the other tool I wanted to show is this one, which is an ELISA character generator. You need to set up an open router API key here and just select the model. You can use free models, so you don't need to spend anything here. This is how you basically can prompt to create a character, and you get all the fields for the character file. And you can also like add knowledge here by drag and dropping PDFs or text files, and that you can convert them into actual knowledge that the agent will have. And this is like the end result, basically, how the character files look like. It has like a bio, it has some knowledge fields and examples, styles, and everything. So this is also quite a nice tool. It was created by an ELISA community member for a hackathon. And yeah, it's pretty nice. So these tools are some of the stuff I wanted to show, but then let's just move to the actual code, just to show you. Oh, I need to restart it. But you can see here I'm just using GitHub code spaces, so I'm not even using an IDE here like a local IDE. I'm just doing all of this on the cloud. I just fork the ELISA repository and made a few changes only. And yeah, this is basically the code I will be running. Let's wait for it to load. So here I created a character called Hackflux, which uses the GaiaNet model, which is free. I can even show it here because there is nothing to hide. Here, this is how you can configure it. There is other ways, the other free models you can use, but by just using this configuration for GaiaNet and just using GaiaNet here, you would be able to use GaiaNet as the provider, which is a free provider, but you can still use any one you like OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini. And yeah, this is just an example of on how character files looks like. In case you want to add like private keys or stuff, you need to add it on the secrets field inside settings. I think there is some examples here. Like here, you got secrets and you can add like the private keys and stuff that is specific for this character. But in this case, I don't have anything. So this is basically the character file, and well, the repository has these different folders. The main one is the agent folder. Here you will find a data folder inside, which is usually not committed to GitHub. That database is a SQLite database, which is like a permanent storage or memory for the agent. You can also change this for like a Postgres database, or you can use Supabase as well for this. But by default, it includes this SQLite database. So if I want my agent to forget everything we have been discussing, I just delete this, and that's it, basically. You can start from zero. Then the other important file here in the agent is this index file, which has basically all the logic for starting your character. So first of all, it loads all the plugins. You can see the Postgres database, the SQLite database. It has all the clients, Farcaster, Telegram, Twitter. And you can see that by default, it includes the Conflux plugin as well. It includes the EVM plugin. It has lots of plugins. It includes the Go plugin, all by default. It's all imported here. And let's move down here. Here is where it chooses the provider. So basically, depending on the EMV file you have, like on what API keys are you using, it will automatically detect that and use the specific model. For example, if you have an open AI API key set up on your EMV file, you will choose OpenAI as the model by default. That's unless you actually set up a model here. Is it? So for my case, I'm just forcing it to GaiaNet. And you can see the same happens with OpenRouter, Grok, Hurist, Galadriel. There is a lot of providers that you can use, and it's just about setting it up on the EMV file. Then it initializes the database and initializes all the clients. You can see the direct client is the most important one, which is the REST API. You can communicate using the frontend, for example. And then there is other clients like Telegram, Twitter. There is Discord, but I took that one out because it was creating some conflicts. But you have Farcaster, Lens, lots of options there. And finally, you have the plugins part. So here is where you need to include all the plugins you are going to use. So in this section here, you need to list all the plugins you are going to use. For example, here you can see that it will use the Conflux plugin automatically by just having this field filled down in the if and I would need to take it out from the imports as well, of course. Let me find everything related to Solana. just take it down. But this is basically how you can customize your character files by taking out plugins or adding new plugins.
Nice, nice. This is a very awesome walkthrough.
So basically here, you will need also to add, of course, in the package JSON all the plugins you are going to use. And yeah, that's basically it. This is about the agent. So apart from that, you have the characters we have already talked about, and you have the client. So let me just run it into the terminal. How do you? Oh. So here I just do pm. I think I have the command here. If I want to run the agent, I have already done pm install and pm build. Oh, here you notice that I need to use Node 23. So probably there is a conflict with the Node version. Let me fix that. So I am running the agent now. This agent I have just created, and I will run it on in a separate terminal. I will run the client, so you guys can see that. So cd client and pm render. And then you can chat with the agent by choosing the chat option here. Let me see if the agent is running correctly. Yeah. So just for you to know, let's go up. We can see up the logs here. So I run the agent. The agent runs some basic settings from the env file. It creates the agent, creates the database, created the runtime. It provides an ID for the agent, and then chooses the model. I have selected GaiaNet. That's why it's selected GaiaNet here. And then here it registers all the actions that are available in all the plugins. So these are all by default. They come on the Bootstrap plugin. So these are like essential ones you should always keep. But if I had added more plugins or enabled more stuff, I should see the actions getting registered here. So I can show more detail about that, but basically here's where you see all the services that have been also logged in the character. So the image description is registered, the text generation, PDF, speech generation, transcription, video registered. You can see like a lot of services that are already there by default, basically. And the history, the memories, and should be ready for me to just ask him something. Hey, how are you? And you can see it received the message, and it's generating some text, and he responded to me. And this basically it's a very simple agent that just responds with text, but it has, for example, the time feature, so I can ask the time. What time is it? This comes by default, and it can read like the time. It's one of the services that is included. But the same as we can ask for this information, we can also ask for information about like Conflux status, or add some services about using Conflux scan to read transaction information, or just ask it, hey, can you send CFX to this wallet, for example? And all that is all done with natural language, and that's I would say, the main advantage of using AI agents, like simplifying user experience, like not needing to know a lot about how to use the blockchain and simplifying all that. And yeah, that's basically a simple one. I don't know if so far we have any questions or comments before I move forward.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole,
Everything
for
good?
providing such a comprehensive walkthrough. And yeah, guys, let us know if you have any question after this walkthrough. I think this like provide in case anyone is like new to this program, new to ELIZA framework, and or even new to AI agent. Nicole just shared the like very detailed how to guide. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty comprehensive, but of course there is lots of details and stuff we can go into. But here in the packages folder, you will find all the different plugins, so you can modify them as well or use them differently. But just I want to show this one, which is the Goat plugin. This one has by default uses EVM has EVM compatibility. So here on the wallet, you can use any VM chain. So by just changing this one to Conflux testnet or Conflux mainnet, I'm not sure what the exact name is, but you just need to change the change you are going to use, and you need to make sure you have a private key set up on your EVM file, EMV file, and the same with the provider. But once you have that, you should, like out of the box, be ready to use Conflux wallet on Conflux eSpace. Just need to set up those two variables on your EMV file and change the chain here. And you will automatically see here in the actions that you will get some new actions, which are these ones basically that are listed here. It's here, which is send ETH, which in our case would be send CFX, and you also have the ERC20 and USDC actions already available there. So basically, this plugin, for example, will allow you to send ERC20 tokens and send CFX and use a Conflux wallet like pretty easily. Then there is also the Conflux plugin, which is I would say I would use it more for Conflux Core, but it has some pretty nice features for Conflux eSpace as well, especially the meme part with ConfliPAM. So the good thing here is that there is a README. You can check out like the actual functions you have. You have the ConfliPAM feature, you have the transfer feature, and the bridge transfer. And for this one, you need to set up your Conflux core private key as a requirement to use this plugin. And yeah, I would say that those two plugins are the most important for interacting with Conflux. You can use either the plugin Conflux or the plugin Goat. There is also the plugin EVM, but I would prefer to use the Goat one because it has some actions out of the box that you can use. And but yeah, that's basically what I had prepared for today. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Do you like
I've
me
seen
to show
GLM.
anything in particular?
I've seen GLM has sent a question in the chat. He asks, is there like a standard provider message scheme that you can mark in the chat interface?
I'm not sure if I get your question right. What do you mean with mocking? Like for testing without needing to actually interact with the agent? There is a lot of templates here that you can check. But let me find it. But there is templates for like every kind of interaction. It normally has templates that show the actual expected outputs the agent should provide based on the expected input. But there is templates like for Twitter, for the direct. Let me find it directly on the client. So here, this is the direct API. This is the one that the agent uses to communicate using the web client, for example. But you can also like use standard REST API calls. And then I think here there are some templates. You can see, for example, no, I don't see the templates here. Maybe this one doesn't have the templates. But I know the Twitter and the Telegram one do have templates. Oh, here it is. So this is basically the system prompt when using the direct API connection. Oh yeah, you can mod a provider input. Yeah, you can like hard code it to respond always specific stuff. So you can start with just checking out the interface and then moving forward to the actual functionality, if that's what you mean. For example, I have
yeah,
done
I don't
that
know if
for
Gentleman is
CoinGecko
like
and DeFi Llama services.
an embedded prompt.
Yeah, basically each function and action has its own prompts, which specify how the agent should behave, especially the ones about like blockchain interaction, because like transactions need to be in a specific format. So it's very important that the agent has a clear guideline on how to execute or how to build a transaction before sending it, so it doesn't have any errors. And yeah, regarding yeah, you don't need to use ELISA. That's true. You can use your own server functions and interact on chain, creating your own agent. We're just talking about ELISA because it's the hot topic today, I would say. And personally, it's the framework I have been using the most, and it's quite easy to use. So for new users, I would suggest starting out with that one before trying to do custom stuff. But if you're more advanced and you can do it all by yourself, that's great.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm not sure if this question is covered by Viku. So Viku asking what is like a EVM key you mentioned and how to get it.
So basically, this is the EMP file. This is the key file that stores all your secret information. You should never share it with anyone. And this is like very private, most of the stuff. Some stuff is like free, so it's already like hard coded there for you to use. Like GaiaNet is also free, so there's no worries with showing that. But in case you want to use like blockchain, you need to have to set up a private key. It depends on the blockchain you want to use. For example, if you want to use Solana, you need to put your Solana private key here. If you want to use EVM, there is an EVM option. Here's the Conflux private key, for example. How to get this one? I mean, for core, you need to download the Fluent wallet and like export your private key from your account.
Yeah, and
for EVM in general,
I
you
have
can do
something
that
add
from
up
MetaMask, or you can do that.
to the
Yeah, sure.
the environment file. I think it's the more secure way is to set a local environment variable rather than just write down the private key in the file, right?
Yeah, exactly. This EMB file is actually gets ignored, so it's not going to get committed to GitHub, and it's normally stored on your local. Here, in my case, I'm using a cloud IDE, so it's actually on the cloud. If I was using VS Code, for example, I just create an EMB file that is stored on my local computer and is not uploaded when I upload it to GitHub, for example. But yeah, this is very important and is key for security, like to never disclose your API keys not only the ones for your private keys for your accounts in blockchain, but also like your API keys for OpenAI or Anthropic, because they actually you need to pay for those. So if you get those disclosed, people can just use it, and you pay for their usage basically. And but yeah, here's where you need to also set up like the Discord bot application, the API token, the Telegram bot. I would say that the Telegram client is one of the easiest ones to set up. You just need to reach out to the bot father on Telegram and create a new bot and add the Telegram bot token. Let me see where it is.
And for
There.
the video demonstration, if you
So
have to like
just
show the structure of your .env file, you can just duplicate a empty file without the actual private key showed, and that's a better way to demonstrate it. Yeah, for the security.
yeah. Always keep in mind that you should never share that information. But yeah, this is a very long EMP file. I think it's the longest I have ever seen. It has lots of options and
Yeah, that's stored everything,
stuff you can add.
basically everything,
And the good
every
thing is that
plugin that
uh,
Eliza has. Yeah. Okay, cool.
so is there any other questions? Maybe we can go like 5 minutes around the typical plugin architecture. So this is the best example you get for plugins, which is the Bootstrap plugins. Here, plugins are composed basically by actions, evaluators, and providers. So here, the actions are like continue, follow room, ignore, mute room. These are come by default. But here in the index file is where you need to actually set up which actions do you want to use. For example, if I wanted to remove the continue action, I just need to take it out from here, and the agent won't have that action anymore. And in case I wanted to add a new action, I just create a new action file here and just import it here. Let's see. Let's do it. A new action. And then I need to import it here. I import. Oh, I'm so used to cursor autocomplete. Like new action. And well, all that. And just import it here and just add it here as new action. Just by doing that, you should be able to see the new action getting registered there. And same happens with evaluators and providers. If you want to add new providers, you just need to make sure this index file has the plugin class here configured properly. And yeah, I think that's basically it. You can see basically actions have all have their own like system prompts. You can see here, like it has CMILs, so that agent that understands that action is not always called like when you call it to mute room, but if you say mute chat, it will also perform that action. And it has some examples on how this action gets used. So these are very good examples that you can use as reference to create your own actions. Like for example, you can create a send CFX action or swap action, and you need to implement it here and make sure you registered it and you have it also on the agent file imported. So you basically need to have the actions and then import the plugin inside your agent, which is like this first file we showed before. So if I wanted to add a new plugin, I can just import a new plugin, like new plugin, and just need to initialize it down here. So here, just add new plugin. And by just doing that, you will be able to like of course, you need to make sure your plugin works and everything. But this is basically how you add the new plugin to your agent. You just need to import it. Of course, that plugin needs to exist before, and just add it here. So some plugins need to be initialized before, like for example the Code plugin or the T plugin. But for most plugins, you don't need initialization. So, yeah, this is basically the key stuff you need to know, like to get started, like how to add the new plugin, how to add the new action, how to integrate those into your agent, and how to modify your agent file, your character files, or to use the models you want it to use or the settings you want it to have. One thing to mention is that even if you are using plugins, you don't need to put them here. I don't know why this field is here, but every time I put some plugin here, it breaks. So you don't need to add the plugins here, but just add them here on the agent file. And the characters, any characters you run using this agent file will have the plugin already registered. But yeah, that's more troubleshooting stuff. So that's why until you have those issues, so we can help. But yeah, I would say those are the most important things. I don't know if there is any questions or any topic you wanna discuss.
Yeah, I see. So
Okay,
Matthias
I think
said
there
there
is.
are a lot of great plugins. Yeah, actually there are a lot of plugins on in Eliza's framework, and even if you're building on your own, you can just take some reference there from Eliza's plugin and to initiate your own to implement this idea in your own code. That would be good as well. Okay. Thank you, Nico, for presenting this awesome detailed walkthrough. And if you don't have any question further, let's end up this workshop quickly. Let me wrap up everything. So we have this workshop recorded, and feel free to check it out later on YouTube. And enjoy your weekdays. Enjoy your new year. So yeah, this should be a early greeting to Happy New Year. Yeah.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Enjoy.
Okay,
If you have any questions,
pin
just
us
reach out on
and tag
the
us
Discord
freely
channel.
in the AI Hackathon chat. So and we'll see.
Yeah, LFG.
All right, guys, let's wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah, goodbye.